executive platinum, emerald, sapphire.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I am your host, and I'm very pleased to welcome back the circumscribed Lee Harris. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thanks, Ria. I have no idea what that word means. So you will have to enlighten me, or I'm going to have to look to Google to help me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and I have to mention to the crew out there that this is the second take that we've had to do this morning after a comment made by Lee. So we're just going to leave that there. It was good enough that we had to restart the entire episode.
We did.
Thanks, Lee.
I do apologize.
And I have to mention that Crew Travel is brought to you weekly by Blue Marine Travel, who haven't lost a passenger since Lee Harris was born back in the late 1900s, and their people move people.
We certainly do. That is our job.
Yes, and you've managed to move you from Fiji to Fiji and then back to New Zealand again in this last week. So well done, you.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I managed it, and I got home safely. Although my first flight was cancelled, nothing to do with us. It was an airline issue, not our issue at all. But yeah, I'm back in the cold. Unfortunately, I've gone from 30 degrees down to about 8 degrees, I think. So yeah, no more t-shirts, back to big thick jumpers, unfortunately.
Yeah, but there is good news. It looks like you're going to be setting up a little bit of a base over in Fiji, which means that you may need to travel a little bit more often over there.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, yes.
Yeah. I don't like you. Right. I think you should hire me for that office. I don't know nothing about travel, but I could just sit there and annoy people.
Yeah. And just drink margaritas by the pool and stuff. That would be your job, wouldn't it?
Right? I do so well at that.
I'm sure you
would. Expert level.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the world of travel? We've got, of course, now that it's a med season and everybody around the world is looking to head over to the EU. What is happening with entry rules across the entire EU?
Yeah, like you said, we're now getting to full swing for the med season. So I thought it would be a good idea just to give crew a heads up on all of the EU countries that have currently dropped all COVID entry rules thus far. So those countries are as follows: Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Croatia, Cyprus, Denmark, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Norway, Poland, Romania, Slovenia, Sweden, and Switzerland. All travellers, regardless if they are reaching one of the countries mentioned just now from an EU or third country, are permitted restriction-free entry. This means that travellers no longer need to present a valid COVID pass, that being a vaccination, recovery, or test certificate. All they have to do now is follow other travel rules, such as presenting a valid passport or visa if such a requirement applies to them.
Wow, and you're going to make sure to provide that on your website, all that information.
We will do indeed. Yep, we'll have the entire list of all of the EU countries that you can travel to.
And does it look like there's going to be more that join this list in the coming days?
I think they're getting there. It looks like more are going to be joining. I know Spain have recently announced that they've dropped a load more entry rules. Germany look like they're going to be relaxing as well. France. So yeah, I would say within, as long as nothing flares up within the next sort of month to 2 months, you'll see probably the majority of European countries will drop all COVID entry rules.
Well, maybe it's back to travel as we knew it prior to 2019.
It certainly looks like we're getting there, that's for sure, yeah.
Good news, good news. And there's some news out of South Africa that isn't going to sit well with some.
Yeah, not quite so good news. South African carrier Comair has suspended all flights as its funds have run dry. The airline has said that it won't resume operations until sufficient additional funding has been secured. Obviously, they've revealed that it's going to be suspending all flights until further notice. In a statement, the airline revealed that the company's business rescue practitioners were left with no other choice. The practitioners are in the process of raising additional funds so that the flights can restart. This isn't the first time Comair's flights have been suspended this year. Regulators grounded the airline's fleet for 5 days back in March. I think we talked about that actually on the show. Flights now won't resume until the sufficient funding has been secured, but at this moment in time, it's unclear how long this will take. over the entire month of June, the airline has or had 1,093 flights scheduled, which equates to 205,000 seats that were due to be on sale. Obviously, that's a massive hit now, especially for domestic flights. So any South African crew who are looking to travel, just be aware Comair isn't going to be a viable option at this moment in time.
And what happens to those people that actually purchase flights on any of those?
Well,
airplanes?
I mean, they should in theory get a refund, but how long it's going to take, who knows? You know, it could take a very long time if they get one at all.
Well, yeah, because if the airline is out of funds, where are they going to find the money to repay?
Yeah, that's the issue they're going to find. Hopefully, you know, you've got the IATA, the International Airport Transport Association, who should be able to step in as well. But we shall see what happens going forward.
Nice, not. British nationals and their health card. What's going on there?
So it's a question we've been asked actually quite a bit, but a large number of British nationals can still use their European health insurance cards. That's the EHIC card when travelling to the majority of European Union and Schengen area countries. This in spite of the United Kingdom's complete departure from the EU on December 31st, 2020. Now, in a Twitter statement published last week, the UK's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office reminded British citizens that their EHIC cards will still be valid despite Brexit. An EHIC is a type of insurance that enables an EU citizen to receive state-provided healthcare in the other EU countries and non-EU Schengen area countries, those being Ireland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland. Now, if you have a UK European health insurance card, it will be valid until the expiry date on the card. Brexit has not invalidated the EHIC cards, which are still in date. Obviously, once it runs out, you won't be able to apply for a new one, but if it's in date at the moment, you can still use it.
That's good news for a lot, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's again, it's one of those things that I don't think people quite realise when Brexit hit. You know, it's another thing that sort of gets taken away with that, and yeah, I'm not sure people were aware of that at the time.
Well, and of course, the biggest nightmare that has happened ever since you know, air travel sort of started picking up again, and you know, we all went back to our vacations and business travel, etc. The ongoing flight issues, and there are a lot of them.
There are, yeah. Aviation chaos in Europe continues as airline struggles to fly confirmed passengers across the continent amid staff shortages. Yesterday was a particularly bad day for travellers as Heathrow had 80 flights cancelled, while Gatwick had 52 departure flights and 30 arriving flights cancelled. Airlines affected by these cancellations were EasyJet, Wizz Air, British Airways and Vueling. Flights from Barcelona, Nice, Madrid, Belfast, Geneva, Corfu, Faro in Portugal and Glasgow were amongst those that were cancelled. Now, outside of the UK, KLM this past Saturday evening took the unprecedented step to stop all passengers flying from European countries to board flights bound for Amsterdam. Instead, the airplanes flew back to Amsterdam empty, leaving hundreds of passengers stranded. Another airport over the weekend which had major issues is Stockholm Arlanda Airport. Passengers faced queues of over 4 hours to get through security, with queues leading outside of the airport doors.
Wow, you know, it's funny because I see these now, not to target the British people, but I see a lot of them complaining about, you know, places like Mallorca. Oh, it was just a nightmare and I'll never go back, and can't they get their stuff together? Well, hello, you know, the biggest airports in Europe are literally closing their doors because they can't handle it. It's, you know, and I mean, right there in England as well, you know, right on their own doorstep, there are, you know, their massive airports are experiencing issues. It is Europe wide. It's not just, you know, your vacation spot that is having issues. It is the entire, you know, continent.
It is. I mean, I went to Fiji and, you know, I didn't have any issues, you know, as bad as that. But I mean, even when I got to Fiji, there was only two guys on the security as you come through. And that's the first time I'd been to Fiji, but, you know, talking to people in the queue and stuff, they said normally you'd get through quite quickly within sort of 15 or 20 minutes. and only had 2 on, and there was 6 gates in total, but only 2 people were on. I'm guessing it was because of COVID or staff shortages or whatever. And I think it took us just over 2 hours to get through. So it shows, even places as far flung as Fiji are still struggling with the staff shortages, whether it be COVID or whether it be to layoffs, due to COVID. Nowhere is immune from it. It is all across the country, all across the world. Airports are struggling.
Well, and to be honest, unless they start upping their pay scale, they're going to struggle for a while because, you take a look at what these people are making and it's not even covering the cost of living in today's day and age. So good luck hiring. People would rather sit at home and not make any money than have to go to work and incur the extra expenses and end up worse off than they were to begin with. Yeah,
exactly right. And I know, like we say, like the UK airports are struggling. And I know as well that it's been announced this week that the baggage handlers at, I think it's Heathrow Airport, are going to vote on strike action. I think it's this week they're going to vote. So if that happens as well, it's going to be complete and utter carnage.
Yeah, well, I think this world is due for a shakeup, if only.
Queen of the world.
You're getting good at that.
Getting good, aren't I?
You are. I don't even have to do the whole. Just jump on it. So exciting. Yeah. So exciting. And there is news out of South Korea, which is important for crew that transit, because there's a lot that do transit through South Korea.
Exactly right. Yeah. So South Korea's Incheon Airport will open 24 hours a day without any flight restrictions from Wednesday under the current plans. The Transport Ministry announced the plans on Friday, which clear the way for a significant increase in flights from the airport. As a result of the changes, the number of flights landing at Incheon per hour will be allowed back up to 40. The current flight cap is merely 20 flights per hour. The flight cap has been in place since April 2020 to assist border control amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The airport's night curfew is also being removed, allowing flights throughout the night. Like I say, with Incheon Airport, a major transit hub for Yachtcrew, the easing of airport restrictions should mean more travel itinerary options via South Korea will be available.
Right. And crew questions.
Yeah, we did. Nice, straightforward, easy one, actually, which is good. We received a question this week from Dominique, who wanted to know the latest entry requirements for Turkey. She's due to join a yacht there in the next week or so. The good news, Dominique, is that Turkey has officially dropped any need for a PCR or antigen test to enter the country. So provided you have relevant visas if needed and your passport, then you are good to travel.
Right. Well, that seems to be one of the biggest questions that we have faced in the last 2 years throughout this whole COVID pandemic, was all about, what they would need to do and how they would need to get in, what visas, what tests, what passports, et cetera. And it seems to, more and more, there's just, travel is normal.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting there. Every week brings new countries that are opening up to the world, whether you're vaccinated or whether you're unvaccinated. It certainly seems that the world is starting to get back to normal, but there's still a little way to go, but we're definitely getting there. We're heading in the right direction.
What's going on with Canada? Can you travel there without, with a test, but without having your vaccines?
I off the top of my head, I don't know, Ria, with regards to whether you have to be vaccinated or not. I know you can travel there, and they dropped the quarantine a few months ago, so that's gone. I can look it up. I can find out and let you know next week whether unvaccinated can travel there. But off the top of my head, I don't know, unfortunately.
Great. Yeah, because I'm looking to ship off my 16-year-old for school. No, I love my 16-year-old dearly, but it is time. But yeah, so he isn't vaccinated, so it would be really good to sort of know that information.
I will have a look, and we will. I'll let you know.
Nice. Well, Lee, I gotta say thank you very much again. I mean, once again, it's been pretty much straight good news, straight across the board. Yeah,
we're getting there. There's other than the chaos at the airports, it's pretty much positive now.
Right. Well, we're going to see you back here again next week.
Oh, looking forward to it. Yep, I'll be back here in my office, freezing cold. Unfortunately, no t-shirts at the moment. You deserve that after Fiji last week. I'm just saying. I do deserve it. Yeah.
I have to mention that Crew Travel is brought to you weekly by Blue Marine Travel, who haven't lost a passenger since Lee Harris was born and back in the late 1900s, and their people move people. You've been watching another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I have been your host. We'll see you again next week. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're boarding passengers seated in zones E.